So here we start to road to 1500 part 3. Here I am playing with the black pieces against white Nigoito. Who is this from England? And let's start. E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6, and the 4 knights opening. Think so. Knight C3. If I played F6, it will be a standard opening. Yes, and this converted into a standard opening. King pawn and goes for bishop B5, and I just copy. He takes, I take, and it was my pawn was hanging on E5. But if it takes my pawn, I can just go E7, and when he go backs to F3, I can just take knight and just pick up my pawn. So he gives support. So first takes, and then gives support with the queen. And here we have bishop B2, and I just pinned the knight. He goes for C4, which was a blunder, because queen B4 check is the fork to bishop. If bishop comes on C3, it is no use, because I can just take the bishop, and it will be a check. So let's see forward what will happen in the game. I just misses that move and just castled, and goes for queen D2 thing, so preventing that check, and takes, and the pawn is doubled, and think so best move is long castle for the white, because the king side has weakened because of this double pawn. And rook takes the control of the E, and here once again a blunder by G5. I think so his strategy was to take rook on this open file of G1 and trying to some mate in threats, and I just found that move of B4. Queen comes and take out the bishop, and short castle, which was not nice move, but there was no move. So let's see. Rook E6. I don't know why I have played this move, and it was just a pawn trade. If I takes on A2, he will take on B7, but it will be on 7th heaven. So and there is no way to prevent it. So I am forcefully to take that pawn or go back and lose one pawn. And he takes, and I just attack the rook, which was not a nice move, because he can just take on C7, and queen B6 is also a possible move, and then the rook was trapped. Okay, he comes bishop queen B4, which is nice move, because if he takes the pawn on C7 after queen B6, the rook is trapped. So rook comes on E8, and he just grab pawn, and I cannot go on B6, queen B6, and then will forcefully trade, and he will just win one more pawn on C6. So I just first attack the queen, and queen come on D6, pressurizing the pawn on C6, and I just attack the queen. I think so he can just now pick up C6 pawn, and queen takes and rook takes, but the queen goes back. And here the trade, for the trade he declines the trade, because trading was important for me as I was a piece up. And H6, king goes on H1. I don't know what's the move, but I just attack the queen by pushing C5. Queen goes back to B3, and I just forwarded. Making my strategy was to now play the move E7, and it's not forcefully, yes, it's forcefully trade, and he just blunder. but no, he's not blunder but inaccuracy, because now it's a forcefully trade. But there, if I go e7, rook takes e7, king takes e7, and I'm losing one pawn, that is a disadvantage. But I have these checks, but he can just take his rook back to that position. So if I want to trade, I should lose one pawn, and that was accepted by me as I was a piece up. So e7, and I lose one pawn here. I accepted that, but the trade was important for me because the rook was very strong on 7th file. So takes and king takes, and as pawn takes, and now a1 check, rook comes back, and here the queen is on d4, and the check, it was not a fork, as queen can block the check. And he comes back. Yes, queen d4 is the possible move, and I have done that. Now queen goes on c1. I just supported my pawn on h6 by moving my knight on g8, and I can now pick up the f2 pawn which is hanging. But he moves queen a3, and if I take pawn on f2, he can just take the pawn on a7 and check me. So it was a trade, and by engine it's not a right move here, because I can go king f8 somewhere. It was a nice move supporting my knight also. So he just took one more pawn, and I came on e7. It's a check, and now I can just go on d7, hides all the check. And now he just took one more pawn, and he just messed up a crazy tactics here. I can just give check on f3, and one move is rook g2. So rook is spin, I can pressurize on g8, and absolutely rook g1, and my opponent resigned here. So it was one of my game to road of 1500 ELO.